There comes a moment in every human life, silent and unannounced, when the soul begins to stir from its long sleep. A moment not marked by celebration, but by confusion, not by joy, but by unease. It is a knock that doesn't echo in the ears, but in the bones. You hear it first not with sound, but with a growing discomfort, a disturbance, like something inside you has shifted, cracked, or begun to whisper truths you never asked for. This is not a moment most people recognize immediately. It begins subtly. The laughter at a dinner party feels hollow. The career you once chased now tastes like ash. The relationships around you seem to speak a language your heart no longer understands. Something is off, you say. Something doesn't fit. And for the first time in your life, you dare to ask, is this all there is? But what most do not know is that this moment, this first fracture, is the gate. It is the invitation. It is the beginning of spiritual awakening. And though poets and mystics have described this as a path of light, I will tell you plainly, this path begins in darkness, in death, in the disintegration of everything you once thought was real. And this, precisely this, is why 99% of people do not survive spiritual awakening. Because what dies is not the body, but the identity, the false self we have worshipped our whole lives. You see, from the moment you were born, you were handed a mask. Parents, society, religion, school, they all gave you instructions on who to be. They taught you what is good, what is bad, what is acceptable, what is not. And you, needing love, needing safety, obeyed. You shaped yourself around their expectations. You buried your rage. You hid your desire. You quieted your intuition. You silenced your wildness. You betrayed your authenticity. But the psyche does not forget. It stores everything, every rejection, every repression, every wound unhealed in the shadows of the unconscious. It is all still there, waiting. And the more you succeed in the world, the more titles you collect, the more praise you receive, the more stable you appear, the more distant you become from your soul. Until something inside you, one day, screams. The scream may come in the form of anxiety, depression, a failed marriage, a sudden collapse of everything you held together. It feels like a crisis, but it is something else entirely. It is the self trying to awaken. And here is where the war begins. The ego, that fragile, constructed identity, will fight to survive. It will convince you that you're just tired, just confused, just going through a rough patch. It will urge you to fix the surface. Buy something, travel somewhere, get a promotion, find a new lover, just keep playing the game. But if the awakening is true, none of that will work. The hunger remains, the dissatisfaction grows, the voice grows louder, until you realize you cannot unhear the truth. You cannot unknow your falseness. And so begins the descent. You do not rise at first. You fall. You fall into yourself, into the shadows, into the places you never dared to look. You meet the pain you buried when you were 6. The shame that curled in your stomach as a teenager, the rage you swallowed for the sake of peace, the grief you denied so you could keep functioning. And it is terrifying. It is chaos. It is madness. But it is necessary, because the soul cannot awaken through comfort. It awakens through destruction, not of the true self, but of everything that is not you. You must unlearn what you were taught. You must question everything you believed. You must be willing to lose your entire identity, not because it is evil, but because it is too small. Most people cannot do this. Most people reach this point and turn back. The pain is too great, the uncertainty too vast, the silence too deafening. They return to the mask. They call the awakening a breakdown. They label it depression. They medicate the call of the soul. They go back to sleep. But some continue. And they walk through the valley of death, not physical death, but ego death. They walk through the fire of transformation, and it burns. It burns every illusion. It burns every lie. It burns every part of you that was never real. And what is left? rawness, vulnerability, silence, and then clarity. You begin to see. You see the games people play. You see the ways they hide from themselves. You see the ways you used to do the same, and you don't hate them. You understand, because you were them. But you are no longer willing to live that way. You begin to live differently, not perfectly, never perfectly, but truthfully. You begin to listen to the voice inside, not the noise outside. You say no when your body tightens. You say yes when your soul expands. You choose solitude over shallow approval. You choose depth over distraction. You choose truth over comfort again and again, even when it costs you everything. And it will cost you. People will leave. You will outgrow places, patterns, friendships. You will feel lonely, not because you are wrong, but because you are real. You will grieve not just what you lost, but who you used to be. This is not easy. This is not glamorous. It is not Instagram-worthy. It is sacred. It is brutal. It is holy. But on the other side, you emerge. Not as someone new, but as who you were before the world told you who to be. You do not become better. You become truer. You no longer seek to be liked. You seek to be whole. And wholeness is messy. It includes your anger, your darkness, your desire, your grief, your joy, your wildness. It includes everything. You stop rejecting parts of yourself. You stop performing. You integrate. And integration is the true awakening. Because spiritual awakening is not about escaping the world. It is about showing up in it fully, vulnerably, powerfully as yourself. It is not about becoming enlightened and floating above others. It is about descending into the body, into the trauma, into the lineage, into the dirt, and reclaiming all of it. You become embodied, present, grounded. You are no longer ruled by fear. Fear still visits, but it does not drive. You see it, you thank it, you release it. You no longer chase love, you become love. You no longer fear solitude, you treasure it. You no longer cling to certainty, you trust. You become strange to others. They don't know what to make of you. You don't argue anymore. You don't play roles. You don't explain. You just are. And that is powerful. That is rare. That is awakening. But let me warn you again, most will not follow this path because it demands everything. It demands that you die to the world to be reborn to the soul. It demands that you sit with pain, not fix it, that you face your shame, not deny it, that you listen even when silence is unbearable. It demands that you walk alone, sometimes for years. And in that loneliness, you will meet yourself, not the self shaped by others, the true self, the eternal self, the divine spark within. And once you taste that, you cannot go back. You can never again pretend to be asleep, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when it would be easier to wear the mask again. You choose truth, you choose freedom, because now you know the cost of the lie. You have felt the price of pretending, and you will never again abandon your soul for the comfort of conformity. Now you are a mirror. You reflect others back to themselves. Some will love you for this. Others will hate you. But you will no longer be moved by praise or blame. You are rooted, not in ideology, not in identity, in being. You walk slowly. You breathe deeply. You listen. You observe. And your presence heals, not because you try, but because you are whole. You carry no agenda. You carry essence. You are no longer at war with yourself, and so you are no longer at war with the world. You see the madness, the noise, the posturing, the illusions, but you do not get lost in them. You remain still. You remain awake. And now a different task begins. To live, to love, to create, to serve. Not from ego, but from soul. To bring the light you found in the darkness into the world, not as a savior, but as a steward. You are not better than others. You are simply awake, and your awakening will be a quiet revolution. You will not shout, you will not convince, you will simply live. And those ready to awaken will feel something in your presence. Not words, not ideology, resonance. Because truth recognizes truth. So I ask you now, not with fear, but with fierce compassion. Are you willing to lose the life you built, to live the life you were born for? Are you willing to face the fire so you can finally stop running? Are you willing to descend so you can truly rise? Because the door is open and the path is waiting, but only you can walk it. No one can do it for you. No one can save you from yourself, and no one can stop you once you choose. So choose, not someday, now, because the world is burning for truth, and it begins with you.